50 years ago, someone drove a fence post into the ground in Holmes County, Ohio, and walked away. That post is still there. I knocked on it with my knuckle last April, and it sounded like knocking on concrete. No soft spot at the soil line where the rot always starts. Just dense hardwood that has been sitting in Ohio soil through 50 winters and 50 springs and every wet summer in between, and has apparently decided it is not finished yet. The farm belongs to a family named Bontrager in Millersburg, and the man who showed me the post was Samuel, the grandson of the man who said it. Samuel is 53 years old, and he has never replaced a fence post on this property in his adult life. Not one. He has added posts when he expanded a fence line. He has never replaced a post that failed because in his experience on this farm, posts do not fail. I stood at that fence line for a long time before I went inside. My own fence posts had lasted 6 years. $1,200 in treated pine from the lumber yard, 2 full weekends of labor, set properly, tamped correctly, and by year 6 the base of every post I pulled was the color and consistency of wet cardboard. 3 of them were worse. One I did not pull so much as lift, because the wood at the soil line had separated from the post above it and stayed in the hole. 6 years. Then do it again, standing next to a 50-year post that sounded like concrete. I understood for the first time that the cycle I had accepted as normal was not a feature of fence posts. It was a feature of the specific fence posts I had been buying, and the specific treatment that had been applied to them, and the specific industry that profits when those posts fail on schedule, and I come back to buy more. I went inside and sat at Samuel Bontrager's kitchen table and asked him to tell me everything. Before the formula, Samuel wanted me to understand the problem correctly, because he said most people try to solve fence post rot without knowing what rot actually is, and a solution aimed at the wrong mechanism fails regardless of price. Wood rot is caused by fungi. Not water damage, not chemical breakdown, not age. Fungi, specifically the brown rot and white rot species, that colonize wood cells, digest the cellulose and lignin that give wood its structural strength, and convert solid timber into the crumbling material that comes up on a post end after 6 years in the ground. These fungi need 4 things simultaneously: oxygen, moisture, temperature between 40 and 100 degrees, and wood. You cannot remove the wood. You cannot control the temperature. That leaves oxygen and moisture as the only manageable variables, and any preservation method that does not address both of them is fighting with one hand behind its back. Pressure-treated pine addresses moisture partially. The copper azole treatment creates a hostile surface environment for fungi, but it penetrates only about ½ an inch into the wood. The core of a pressure-treated post is untreated. 6 years of soil contact lets moisture work through checks and end grain until it reaches that untreated core, and then rot begins from the inside where the treatment cannot reach it. The post looks fine from the outside until the inside is gone. That is why you do not know it has failed until you pull it. The Bontrager method addresses both oxygen and moisture at the cellular level of the wood, not at the surface, inside the wood. And it does this with 3 materials that cost $15 combined and that the paint and lumber industries have no interest in discussing with you. Samuel went to the cabinet near the back door and came back with 3 things and set them on the kitchen table. Raw linseed oil, pine tar, beeswax. That is the complete list. 2 parts raw linseed oil to 1 part pine tar to 1/4 part beeswax by volume. 3 materials, 1 formula, written in his grandfather's handwriting in a farm notebook from 1961 that Samuel showed me. The leather cover worn soft as cloth. Each material does something the others cannot. Raw linseed oil has a molecular structure small enough to enter the spaces between wood cells and polymerize there, converting pathways that would otherwise trap water into sealed hydrophobic spaces that moisture cannot enter and fungi cannot colonize. It is the deep treatment, the one that works from the inside out. Pine tar does 2 things linseed oil does not. Its natural phenolic compounds create a chemical environment hostile to the specific fungal species that cause brown rot and white rot, not through synthetic biocide chemistry the way copper azole works, but through the antimicrobial properties that pine has always produced naturally. It also forms a semi-impermeable layer on the wood surface that reduces oxygen diffusion, which addresses the second fungal requirement that linseed oil alone leaves unmanaged. Beeswax seals the surface pores that both linseed oil and pine tar leave partially open. More importantly, it stays flexible. A brittle surface coating cracks with the seasonal expansion and contraction of the wood and creates new moisture pathways at the crack lines. Beeswax moves with the wood through every seasonal cycle and maintains the seal that rigid coatings eventually lose. Samuel said, linseed oil is the deep treatment. Pine tar is the chemical barrier. Beeswax is the surface seal. Together they address every pathway rot uses to establish itself. Separately, each is a partial solution, and partial solutions in fence post applications mean you are back in the field with an auger in 6 years instead of never. Before the treatment comes preparation, and preparation is the step most people skip when they learn this formula because it looks like extra work. Skipping it turns 40-year performance into 25-year performance, which is still remarkable, but which is not what the Bontrager family was after. The preparation is charring. The bottom 18 inches of every post, the section that will be in soil contact, is held over open flame and allowed to char on the exterior until a uniform layer of carbon, approximately 1/8 of an inch deep, covers the entire surface of that section. Not burning, charring. Burning consumes the wood. Charring converts the outer wood cells into carbon, which is chemically inert, physically hard, and completely resistant to fungal attack because fungi cannot digest carbon. The Japanese have been charring structural timber for over 1,000 years using a method called shu sugiban, and buildings treated this way in the 17th century are still standing. The Amish did not learn it from Japan. German farmers in the Palatinate region were charring fence post ends before Pennsylvania was settled, because the observation that charred wood in ground outlasts uncharred wood is available to anyone who has ever pulled a post and compared it to the charred remnants left in the ground by a fire. The char layer does 3 things. It converts exterior wood cells into material rot fungi cannot digest. It creates a surface naturally resistant to moisture absorption because carbon repels water. And it creates a chemically compatible substrate for the treatment that follows, absorbing the linseed oil and pine tar mixture more evenly and deeply than uncharred wood does. Every post Samuel's grandfather set in 1974 was charred before treatment, before installation. 50 years later, those posts sound like concrete. The treatment mixture goes on hot. Melt the beeswax first in a small pot over low heat. Add the pine tar and stir until combined. Add the raw linseed oil last and stir until fully incorporated, then remove from heat. Apply while the mixture is still warm and liquid, because warm oil penetrates wood fiber significantly deeper than cooled oil due to reduced viscosity. A cold mixture sits on the surface. A warm mixture goes in. Apply 3 coats to the charred section with a natural bristle brush, working the mixture into the char layer and particularly into the end grain at the very bottom of the post where moisture entry is fastest. Allow each coat to absorb fully before applying the next, roughly 20 minutes between coats. After the 3rd coat, wrap the treated section in a piece of cloth while the mixture is still warm, which holds it against the wood surface and continues driving penetration as the mixture cools. The cloth comes off after an hour. The post goes in the ground the same day while the treatment is still partly fresh, because penetration continues in the soil as the post warms and cools with soil temperature changes over the first weeks after installation. Samuel's grandfather called this the living treatment, because it was not finished when the post went into the ground. It finished itself during the first season. Total material cost at current prices. A quart of raw linseed oil from a paint supply store runs approximately $8. A pint of pine tar from a farm supply runs approximately $6. A quarter pound of beeswax from any craft store runs approximately $3. $15 to $17 total, treating 20 to 25 standard fence posts. Compare that to the alternative. Pressure-treated posts at $12 to $15 each, replaced every 7 years. 20 posts over 40 years is $2,400 in post material alone, plus the labor of resetting them 5 or 6 times. $15 of linseed oil and pine tar and beeswax applied once handles the same fence for the same 40 years. Samuel said the math, and then looked at me without adding anything to it. The wood species question matters and deserves a direct answer. The treatment works on any species but performs best on open-grain hardwoods that allow deep penetration of the oil and tar mixture. Oak, ash, hickory, and black locust are what the Bontrager family has always preferred where available, because these species combine the natural density that resists mechanical damage with the grain structure that accepts the treatment most completely. Black locust deserves specific mention because it is exceptional. Locust has a natural heartwood rot resistance that makes it the best fence post wood in North America even without any treatment, and exceptional wood plus the Bontrager treatment produces performance that pushes well beyond 40 years. There are locust fence posts on Amish properties in Lancaster County that have been in the ground since the 1890s and remain structurally sound because locust's natural resistance combined with the traditional treatment has produced posts that have outlasted the generation that set them and the generation after that. For people who do not have access to hardwood, pine and fir work significantly better with this treatment than without it. The natural resin content limits penetration slightly compared to hardwoods, but the result still dramatically outperforms any pressure-treated commercial alternative available at the lumber yard. Sitting at his kitchen table as I was getting ready to leave, Samuel said something that I have not been able to improve on since he said it, about why this knowledge disappeared from the mainstream and where it went. He said, the paint industry does not want you to know about this, the same way the pharmaceutical industry does not want you to know about the herb drawer, and the HVAC industry does not want you to know about gable vents. Not because they are conspiring, because each of them operates in a market where your continued purchasing is their continued revenue, and a solution that costs $15 and lasts 40 years removes you from the market for 39 of those 40 years. He said, a fence post that lasts 40 years is not a bad product. It is a bad business model. A fence post that lasts 6 years is an excellent business model, and the people who benefit from it have no incentive to tell you about the alternative. He said, the Amish know about it, because the Amish have always operated on the same logic as a 40-year fence post. He said, when you build something on your own land with your own hands for your own family to use, you build it to last as long as possible because you are the one who pays the cost when it fails. He said, when you build something to sell to someone else, the calculus is different, and the product reflects the calculus. He said, my grandfather set those posts in 1974 because he intended to be farming this land in 2014, and he did not intend to reset the fence in between. He said he was right on both counts. He farmed until 2009, and the fence did not need resetting. In the comments below, tell me this. What is the maintenance problem on your property that you have solved repeatedly with expensive commercial products without it staying solved? The repair you have made 2 or 3 times already, and know you will make again. I read every comment, and those answers tell me exactly where this channel needs to go next, because the pattern across your repeating problems is always the same as the fence post, which is a commercial solution designed to need replacing and a traditional solution designed to last that nobody told you about. Subscribe if you are not already here. Next week, I am going back to the Bontrager farm in Millersburg to document the barn floor preservation system the family uses. A treatment applied to the original 1923 wooden floorboards every 5 years that has kept them in functional condition through 100 years of animal traffic and moisture and hard use. Using a mixture that cost under $20 and addresses a more demanding application than a fence post, because the floor has no charring option and must handle daily mechanical stress alongside the biological pressure. The linseed oil is at the paint store. The pine tar is at the farm supply. The beeswax is at the craft store. $15. One afternoon. 50 years of posts that sound like concrete when you knock on them. Someone drove those posts into the ground in 1974 and walked away knowing he would never have to touch them again. Now you can do the same thing.